Hi there, my name is Mark Blackwood, and I am the president at Real Property Management Pros. We specialize in residential property management here in the Northern Virginia market. A question that many people have, especially if you're self-managing a rental property, and maybe everything's going along smoothly, but up until a point, and then all of a sudden now it's not. Let's say that the tenant has not paid the rent. So, what should you do if your tenant has not paid rent on time? Well, the first thing is you need to follow what your lease says. It probably says the rent is due on the first. There may very well be a grace period written into your lease, so check and see what that is in your particular case. In the leases that we write there's a 5-day grace period, so it's late if it has not been received by the 5th day. And so what we do is the very first business day after that, we send out what is called the 5-day pay or quit notice. This is a legal notice that you need to send. It's really a prerequisite in the state of Virginia. You cannot begin the eviction proceedings until you've done this step. So make sure that you send the appropriate notice, that it includes all the appropriate things. Keep documentation records of the fact that you've sent that, because if you're going to go to court, you will need to be able to demonstrate that you've done all the right things in the right order. And so let's say what that notice essentially says is you've got 5 days to pay, Mr. Tenant, or then you're gonna not be able to stay in the property. And so usually that gets the tenant's attention, and they're going to contact you, get the situation worked out. That's the way it goes the vast majority of the time. So don't dilly-dally around. Don't wait on giving them that notice. It'll do a lot of good. Now, let's say that 5 days passes after you've delivered that notice and they still haven't paid the rent. Now you can begin the eviction proceedings. Now, I would recommend here that you probably speak to an attorney. I don't want to give you legal advice, but in general, you're going to file or start the eviction proceedings in the court for the county or jurisdiction where your property is located at. And so there'll be you'll have to get a court date. There'll be some time that passes, then you go, you've got your day in court, you go with all of the appropriate documentation, and as long as you've dotted your I's and crossed your T's, the judge is going to award possession of the property back to you. If the tenant doesn't voluntarily vacate the property by the time that they're supposed to there, then you're going to meet the tenant there at the property. You're probably going to coordinate with the sheriff's department so that they're there. If they need to physically remove the tenants from the premises, they will. The tenant's possessions will be set out on the curb if they need to be. Have a locksmith there at that time, because you're going to want to change the locks so the tenants can't turn around and go back in the property as soon as you leave. So that's really the process. You can avoid this and a lot of these problems by doing careful selection up front. Make sure that you don't make the worst mistake, which is letting the wrong people into the property in the first place. But hopefully that's a quick overview. That's helpful for you. The big thing is send that 5-day pay or quit notice. Do it at your earliest opportunity, which is as soon as that grace period has passed. Make sure that you properly document that you do it all the right way, that all your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed. Consult an attorney if you have to file an eviction.